Alina Habba, Natalie Harp, the human printer. Who's Margo Martin? I'm struck whenever I see her by how similar she looks to Melania, except she's 20 years younger.
Right. The Daily Mail is always confusing that, famously.
Right. Well, she does look just like her. She's got beautiful long chestnut hair. She's incredibly attractive.
And within the White House, they were always grateful for that confusion, because it made it seem like Melania was on the scene.
There. Yeah. Right, that's funny. So, who is Margo?
Just an assistant, a tender, again, a part of this comfort blanket staff. What official function does she have? What does she actually do? It comes under the broad heading of comms. Again,
which in a sense is all his presidency is.
Yeah, it's again,
endless comms,
and also the link that he always makes between pretty girls and PR.
And then we have,
which is not incidental to him. I mean, PR is he acknowledges. He is open in his understanding and his I'm transparent about how important that is to him. I mean, during the campaign and during the trials, it was always my legal strategy is my PR strategy. My PR strategy is my legal strategy.
Taught to him by Roy Cohn.
Yeah.
It's so interesting listening to the backgrounds of these women around Trump, because you think of all these students who've come out, doggedly studying political science at Georgetown, and they've spent, several years interning for some godforsaken senator in some state, hoping that they will squeeze into politics somehow. And in fact, it turns out that if you just carry a printer around on a golf cart, that's actually the way to get hired these days.
And I think part of the recommendation here is that nothing about this. Maybe you can actually create some deeper rationale. I mean, we don't want politics. We're against politics. We're anti-politics. We're anti-politicians. We're anti-Washington. All of that, we're
anti-elite universities,
which is true. So we want people to work for us who know nothing about politics, who have no interest in politics, and who have all gone to some godforsaken college that you've never heard of.
Well, one of those people, and that leads me perfectly to Laura Loomer, who is the ultimate outsider, determined to become an insider, constantly running around telling people what influence she has with the president. Does she have influence? And what does he make of her?
Okay, well, operationally, everybody is trying to keep Laura Loomer out, except for Natalie Harp. So, and as I said before, Natalie is the most direct conduit. She and Laura Loomer have bonded in some way of friendship or just convenience, and that's how Laura Loomer comes in. She calls Natalie, she's in, and the president likes her.
Why does he like her? Where does she come from?
She's 30 years old. She looks the part. She's on television often. If you're Donald Trump, well, that's the trifecta.
Right.
I mean, what's not to like from Donald Trump's point of view?
But the others seem less ideological. Like, we don't get a sense that Margo Martin or Natalie Harp are in it for anything other than proximity to the presidency. Whereas Laura does seem to have an ideological drive.
Yeah. No, obviously, or some drive.
Well, some drive, right? And she's very MAGA, whereas you wouldn't.
But she's very. But he doesn't necessarily see it that way either. He sees it. She's very television. She's good television. So that's amusing to him. I mean, he's not hiring her he's not bringing her into the White House. She's not part of his comfort staff. Although there were constant rumors through the campaign. But I think that those were started by various people. There was an agenda behind those rumors. As far as I know,
that she was more than a comfort blanket.
Yes. or a very comfortable blanket. But I think that she just comes in and she amuses him. And she comes in through Natalie.
Well, and to be fair, if you're in that job, there must be moments when you need amusing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that is conventionally true.
I mean, you think of kings having court jesters,
right? But that suggests that Trump is spending time, in a serious pursuit of his duties.
Right. Well, in fact, everybody
then has to take a break from, and in effect, the whole Trump presidency is a break from the presidency.
And then, of course, there's the mother of them all, Susie Wiles, who looks completely different, who is a grandmother and gives off very grandmotherly vibes.
An anomaly in this, an important anomaly, that she manages to step in there. And I think the fact that she looks the way she does, in 2016, she was running Florida. He didn't know her. She had been brought in to run the state of.
And she was working with DeSantis, wasn't she? Ron DeSantis.
She had not gone to work for DeSantis yet. She was a Florida political operative brought in to run the state of Florida for Donald Trump.
Oh, okay.
And then he went to Florida and. Met her for the first time and, whatever conversation they had. And then he left and he said, looks like a refrigerator. Get rid of her.
That's why he said
yes.
She looked like a refrigerator. Get rid of her.
Yes.
Oddly, she does wear a silver dress. It's like a light blue silver.
I don't know. There is something in his head. He hits these.
Well, he's looking at it from the point of view of a casting director, right? This is all casting.
Right, but even the words, there is something riveting about this. Somehow he hits it. He gets it.
Or Susie Wiles. Because she's obviously an extremely effective operator.
And yes, and anyway, she was not fired, and they went on to flip the state of Florida.
So the refrigerator won.
Yes, and then she came. She was in the same role for 2020, and then after he lost and returned to Mar-a-Lago, Jared, who did not want to be the president's keeper and administrative assistant, and he saw the role there and said, God, get me out of here. He brought Susie Wiles in to do that. And she proceeded to do it in a way that he doesn't notice, which is really what he wants in that job.
And what relationship do the women have to each other in the White House? Because you say that all his advisors hate each other, his cabinet ministers hate each other. It's a fight for his attention. Do the women get on? Is it a supportive environment, or are
they hate each other? I mean, it's a competition. He is always pitting them against one another, always choosing one over the other, and you have to fight for his. That's what you're doing. You're fighting for his attention, and the one who gives him what he most wants is the one who is closest to him, and the one who is closest to him is. Everyone else understands that they are not the closest to him.
So, I mean, it's so interesting hearing all this, and I want to do another episode purely on the family, actually, and his kids in particular. But it's very noticeable that Jared and Ivanka are not around second time round. I mean, they've made it clear they don't want it. Ivanka's publicly said politics is not for her. It's too poisonous. She doesn't like it. What did they know that everybody else does?
Well, I think that's the question. And that's sort of what if I were one of those people who now in the White House, I would say, wait a minute, I'm here and the guy who knows everything is not here. So what am I missing? And I think it's true. I think they know everything. They went through that first White House. They saw him at his most precarious in the way that he could have gone down and could have taken them down with him. Almost did on any number of occasions. And they went into this saying, and went into this second or third campaign saying, no, I mean, you don't want to tempt fate like that.
And of course, remembering now Ivanka testifying during the January the 6th testimonies.
Right. I mean, they're under, absolutely no illusion about what happened here, certainly about the election denial, about January 6th, but about so much else also. I think that they have literally run in the opposite direction. And of course, let's not forget the several $1 billion that they've accrued in the process.
This podcast was produced by Devon Rogerino, Anna von Ursen, and it was edited by Jesse Millward.